Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Saul K here, thriving musician and founder of thrivingmusician.com. Today's Friday, February 28th. It's a beautiful rainy day here in California. We need it. Thanks for tuning in to part 5 of my video series. This is the 1-year-long video series I'm going to do to give you guys every tool, strategy, tip, trick that I know that I've learned and personally tried in the music business for the last 20 years to help you with your career. So today I want to focus on why people are still buying CDs. Now, I'm sure most of you just said no one buys CDs anymore. Everyone just listens to Spotify and they download music and CD sales are dead. Well, I can tell you that it's not true from my own personal experience. I'm not going to quote industry numbers of how many millions of actual physical CDs were sold last year, not to mention LPs, but from my own personal experience, I will tell you that this month, in February, that I've sold 130 of these puppies. Also, I've sold download cards and I've had a bunch of digital downloads. So for some of you, maybe that's a slow month. For some of you, that's a good month. Some of you maybe have never sold more than 50 CDs in a month in your life. Now, why do people buy CDs? Why do people buy CDs at live shows? And this video is tailored towards people that do live events because this is it's what I'm going to focus on today. The reason why is because of this. Don't mess with Texas. Why do I have this thing? I was just on tour in Texas about 10 days ago. My wife, who's also a musician and doing concerts. And we have this thing when we go on tour, is we buy these cheesy little magnets that we put on our fridge. So we have all these magnets from all over the country. And why do we do that? Because, it's not because this has any value in and of itself, unless of course you are from Texas, which it does. It's because it represents an emotional experience that we had. It represents something that we can take home that when we look at this thing, we're going to remember what happened. We're going to remember this particular meal. We're going to remember this show. We're going to remember this gig. We're going to remember meeting this particular person. And this is a representation of those experiences. Now, at your show, your live show, your job is to create emotional moments for people to remember and want to hold on to. I once had the privilege of working with a performance coach named Tom Jackson, who's coached thousands of people, and he's amazing, and if you can ever actually afford to work with him, I totally recommend him. And he talked about basically creating emotional moments at your shows. The whole thing was around creating these 1 or 2 emotional moments that were the peaks of your shows that people remembered and wanted to take home. And how do they take them home? Like this. They want a physical reminder of the emotional experience that they had at your show. And of course on your CD, that's well produced and sounds great. That song that they heard at that emotional time is on here. So what's going to happen in your show is in the 10 to 15 minutes after you're done playing, people are going to come up to you and say, oh, was that one song you played, is that on your CD? Yes. Boom. You're going to sell it. Guarantee it. And now just to rewind for 1 second, none of the strategies, all of the tools and tips and tricks that I'm going to give you over the next year are going to work unless you're good. Unless your show is good, your music's good, your songs are good, and your CDs sound good. None of it's going to work unless all of that is there. So I'm just assuming that for all of you guys, that's the case. And if you want me to check out some of your music or your website or your CDs and just give you some honest feedback from someone else in the industry, if it's, you know, if it's up to snuff, totally happy to do that. And of course, you're always getting live feedback from people in the audience as to whether or not it's working. You're getting traction. I call it taking the temperature of the audience in your shows. But we're going to talk about that in another blog series, and also we're going to talk about actual strategies for selling more CDs in later blog series. So just to scroll back for 1 second, people are buying CDs right now. Any car, I just rented cars. I was on tour in Philly and I was on tour in Texas. And cars in 2014 have CD players. People are still buying these by the millions. So your job as a live performer is to create these emotional moments, these emotional experiences that people want to take home. So I hope that is helpful for you, and if you want more coaching or advice, go to thrivingmusician.com. Make it a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.